we'll also have smaller group sessions where we will get into smaller groups, like maybe I'll share a message, and then I'll have people break up into small groups of 4 or 5 people. And then I'll give them an exercise to do. And that will be depending on what I'm sharing on, which I don't know yet. It's not a canned thing, it's not a cookie cutter thing, so we seek the Lord every time before we do a conference and what He wants us to share. But we will give some practical help, and then we'll say, okay, you guys break up into small groups and, do this, or talk about the message, or, kind of share what you're getting out of this. Or perhaps we'll have them pray over a certain scripture that was shared. Just those kinds of things to make it real, to make it practical and come home to them, and to connect with one another. And that's one of the things we want to do too, is introduce people to one another. Hopefully they'll find other folks in their areas, and we'll have the name tags. I'll also, the first night, I'll ask everybody to stand up from different areas so we can get to know one another and people can find other people in their area. So it's pretty full. It's pretty full. We leave some spaces in between the sessions so people can connect with one another and spend time together, So that's kind of a typical conference, I guess I could say.
Okay.
How about the gifts being manifested? Is that allowed?
Excuse me?
How about the gifts being manifested? Is that allowed?
Well, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. I mean, it's not, these are not going to be church meetings. And that's something that has to be, I usually say that the first night. This is going to be ministry meetings. Now, there are different kinds of meetings. There's a church meeting, which is where the whole body functions. The whole purpose of this conference is to facilitate that happening in the future. But God's people have to be equipped for that to happen. Most of us are used to sitting in a pew, and sitting in a pew for 10 years does not equip you to function as a member of the body of Christ. So there is equipping that has to happen, and that doesn't happen over a weekend either, but it can begin there. So they're not going to be open church meetings where everybody will be functioning. I'm going to be over functioning. So I will be there to share a message, to share a vision of God's eternal purpose with the people that are there, to hopefully instill in them a bigger revelation of their Lord and a wider view of what He wants. And so it's not going to be an open meeting. No, it won't be no open meetings, because when you have a bunch of people together from all different backgrounds and all kinds of different places they're coming from spiritually, if you have an open meeting like that, you're asking for mayhem. You're asking for trouble.
Amen.
So it will be very clear from the first night. I will share and I will explain what kind of meetings these will be. These will be ministry meetings. An apostolic worker coming to begin to lay a foundation among people who are open to that. And then so these are not open church meetings, which you get 100, 150 people together. If you were at Toledo, there were some people that were kind of misunderstood that as well, and thought that, well, how come there's just one guy talking? This is just like going to church. Well, it's not like going to church. It's like going to a church service, but church is where the whole body functions. Paul described in 1 Corinthians. What is it then, brethren, when you all come together? Each one has a song, each one has a testimony, each one has a revelation. The whole body is functioning. But the problem is we don't know how to function. And if you get a group of believers sitting in a living room, typically, and you say, okay, everybody's going to function tonight, they will all just stare at one another and probably freeze and be scared to death. So